Onyango Havili, Taylor Ruru, Basuki Thakau, Leonard Takanoa and Brad Lacey. Dwayne Nesta, the head coach, will be hoping that his boys can go all the way to the final. And the Italian All-Stars, perhaps the surprise package of the semi-finals, with Ansel Bauer, Persico Downey, Graham Smiley, Gerber, Bayers, Rarato, and the man who's made it all tick for them, Chris Jordan. And the head coach is Zane Ansel, Andrea Mercato and Toby Botas on the bench. And it's going to be the Force who get things started from left to right. Kelsey Simons is our match referee, and joining us in co-commentary is none other than the Wallaby scrum half and one of the assistant coaches for the Africa Pacific Dragons, Will Genia. Well, it was a tight old first semi-final. Are you expecting as tight a second semi?
Yeah, definitely. I think if you look at the Western Force over the competition thus far, they've been one of the form sides and have played some very, very good rugby. But you look at the Italian All-Stars, they play with a lot of flair, and I think if what they bring can come off on those offloads and whatnot, I think it should make a very, very even contest.
Surprised by their result against Saracens?
Yeah, very surprised. I mean, having spoken to the Saracens boys, I think they're a little bit tired and a little bit bumped and bruised from the competition over the course of the 2 days, but it's great to see a side like the Italian All-Stars perform well in this competition.
Italian All-Stars overcame Saracens by 17 points to 0. Western Force, they made their way through by 12 points to 7 over the Africa Pacific Dragons. The All-Stars with the ball inside their own 22. Under a fair amount of pressure as the Force come on and try and apply that, but Chris Smiley gets it back and then it's chipped forward by Gerber. He's there to make the tackle. Penalty coming to the Force though. The All-Stars flood through and go off their feet. We've seen a few teams trying to secure that sort of ball and just unable to do so legally.
I think if the All-Stars are a chance of winning this game, they're the sorts of things that they're going to have to try. The little chips, the offloads and things like that, because as we've seen, the Western Force very dominant in that breakdown area and look to put a lot of pressure on defensively as well.
Must have been pleased with the Dragons' last performance.
Yeah, the boys performed really well. We spoke a lot about enjoying it and making the most of it, but I think the one thing we mentioned was the enjoyment comes from working hard and being competitive and playing some good quality rugby, and it was great to see that.
Force with the line out. Referee wants that one. Back again. Wasn't straight. Saw a little bit of pick and go from the Dragons as well. It was Chris Vui and Hale Tupoling. They were pick and go over for the try. You haven't seen too much of that in this competition so far. Pretty effective.
Yeah, I think Hale was a bit of a ball hog there. he jumped at the chance to put his boots on, but no, it's great to see the big boys get involved in this game, and obviously I think that's one thing that's been underestimated, the fact that you actually do require the big boys and the forwards to do the grunt work up front.
Yeah, we were having that chat with Chris Dutton during the last game. The teams that have sort of brought a couple of big wingers to take part in the forward pack, and actually maybe wishing they brought a couple of the bigger boys right from the outset. Chris Smiley feeding that ball back inside. Gerber's had a couple of decent carries for the All-Stars. They've got to get out of their own half though. Bayers. Oh, they get away. Jordan is that man again. He was just trying to get the ball in the right hand to get an offload out. Didn't quite happen for him though, did it? Been at the centre of so much of what the All-Stars have done well. You could see he was just trying to transfer it to the right hand to make that offload. Goes in for the Force. First phase ball. Get the long pass across. A little bit of in and out running. Brad Lacey with the run back in field, and they tap and go quickly. Gus Taylor then feeds on, and is Ruru going to go all the way and open the scoring? Try for Western Force. And that was just about quick thinking.
Great work from the middle scrum half. They're obviously sensing the opportunity to take the quick tap and catch the defence on the back pedal. And, you know, good support play from Michael. They're chasing through on the offload.
4th try of the competition. And a key one. Conversion is good. Key one to get first blood in this semi-final. Gus Taylor able to just draw the tackle of James Downey and set Ruru free. Advantage being played to the All-Stars. It's enough of a breeze out there that it's proving to be an advantage for the team playing from right to left as our pictures look at it. It seems that certainly in that last game we saw the Sharks using it in the first half to try and keep the Brumbies parked back in that corner. Bauer. Can the All-Stars reply? Away from Smiley. Little cut back in field from Gerber. Smiley now goes to the left side. Giordano, you can see what he was trying to do. Join the line on that short side and create the advantage. But it's just gone forwards.
They'd be incredibly disappointed there. I mean, they set up the first phase play quite well, getting over the advantage line, and just simple mistakes with one of the rare opportunities they've had, you know, within the Western Forces quarter.
Western Force with possession, got a fair way to go to the All-Stars line. Balls in from Taylor at the back and under the feet of Havili, and they come away through Ruru, looking to get round on the outside with Tekanawa. Ruru goes in to play scrum half, but Tekanawa holds on to it. Murato in a really good position to try and force the turnover. Fasuki Thakau, the man who couldn't resist just holding on a little longer. The All-Stars looking to play the sort of percentage game that saw them win out against the Saracens. And of course we return later on with the finals of the 2016 World Club Tens. Chris Smiley trying to work his way out of a telephone box space. Get it to the deck. A little cut back in field from Aaron Persico. Smiley, they spotted a chance to get a 2-on-1 down that near side. Greg Bauer sucked into the tackle. Penalty to the Force. Bauer done for holding on. Players certainly not given much time in the modern game on the ball like that, are they?
No, not at all. He's on the ball there in a flash, and obviously a very relieving penalty for the Western Force. I think the All-Stars would be incredibly disappointed once again. Good field position and just unable to capitalise on the territory.
Well, we've got you here, a little reflection on that second test in Australia. I can tell people there's a wry smile on the face of Will Genia currently.
Yeah, I mean, having watched a little bit of it and read over the coverage, you know, it was an impressive performance from England. Kind of I guess you could call it a defensive masterclass, considering Australia had about 70% possession. So, you know, I know the Aussies will be incredibly disappointed, but you've got to give credit to them.
It's a really well-worked try from Western Force. Brad Lacey, the man to touchdown. It was made through the middle from the first try scorer, Michael Ruru. And given that they struck from fairly far out, Force will be delighted with that second score. Jordan, look at him just standing there as the last line of defence, but they had a winger right out on that right-hand side. And that's really well finished. Of course, plenty has been made of Eddie Jones taking a side over to Australia. How does it sit with the Australians seeing a man who was, you know, once on their side, now bringing over an old enemy looking good?
Well, look, I think in the modern era of rugby, it's a professional game, and you don't really think about it, I guess, as an Aussie coaching the English side. It's just, you know, Eddie's obviously a world-class coach, and he's been given the opportunity to coach England, and that's where his allegiance lies. And to see the incredible job and the incredible turnaround, you know, that he's been a part of and been a big part of changing, it just shows how good of a coach he is and how good he is at what he does.
Yes, absolutely. Be interesting to see how that third test goes. Restart takes one bounce and goes into touch, and the referee will signal half-time. Western Force then with that second try looking a little bit more in control certainly, and they'll have the win behind them second half. It's a half-time score in the second semi-final of Western Force 12, the Italian All-Stars 0.
We work together in defense, they're not going to break us, they won't break us. If you hit the ease on your course, those two. Let them firstly do doing your man on, then we push. Let's go. We're fucking right.
Two tries to 0 to the Western Force.
It'll be interesting here to see if the Western Force play a little bit more conservative and use the wind and obviously play some territory. I think throughout the tournament they've looked to hold on to the ball pretty much right the way through the game, so it'll be interesting to see.
Chris Jordan getting things restarted with, looks like he's got a mummy's leg on, the amount of tape he's got. Ball breaks for Mies Erasmus. Oh, that right-hand fed working brilliantly for Erasmus. My goodness me. What a score from the big man. That's absolutely gorgeous.
You don't need to kick the ball when you can score tries like that, that's for sure.
Look at the celebrations. Get out of it, he says to 1. Look out, coming through, he says to 2 and 3. I'm going all the way.
Looks a little bit like Chris Ashton on the wing there.
Mies Erasmus with his third try of the competition. Great start for the Force in the second half. Ball nicely taken in from Van der Heyden. He spotted a little right-hand channel to put the ball into. Ruru, well, he's going to run it back down the same channel. Ruru going all the way here. Van der Heyden giving chase. Van der Heyden catching it. Tall, rangy man. Closing in. Then it's turnover ball. Mercato. Out through Persico. Downey looking to try and break through the tackles. Gets the offload away back to Persico. Needling trying to go round on the outside. Then there's a penalty given away. High tackle. Referee calling them back to the mark. They've been really hot on this during the whole competition.
Probably a little bit over the top, a bit pedantic. I mean, it's 10s rugby. It's about playing the space. They should make it, you tap the ball within a couple of metres of where the mark is, so it's a little bit, you know, a little bit more free flowing.
if you're only a metre or two to the side or behind it, you know, what is the difference really? It certainly must have been something that's been very specifically detailed ahead of the tournament. Force leading 17 points to 0.
2, 6.
Tries from Michael Ruru, Brad Lacey and Mies Erasmus. Bettetti crashes it up. Penalty All-Stars. Smiley will try and keep the tempo high by tapping and going. Big collision in the middle. Ken Kateka's going to try and hold that up. They have managed to force the turnover. Well done by the Force. Just snuffing out any of the All-Stars' momentum. Italian All-Stars, the team put together largely by players who have represented or wish to represent Italian clubs at various points in their career. That's how the team's been assembled. Zane Ansel is the head coach. Pulls away from Taylor. Ruru wants to use the breeze to just stick it back in that corner and manages to do so.
Not a bad option considering they're 17-0 up. Got the breeze behind them. Hopefully they can hold on to this lead, play a bit of territory and save the legs for the final.
Yeah, it's about just asking the All-Stars, what have you got at this stage, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's quite tough playing out of the breeze. You know, you can't kick because the breeze is quite tough, and you know, when you're down 17-0, you've got to run everything. So it's about squeezing them, putting pressure on, and forcing mistakes.
All-Stars do well to win that line out, down through Smiley and away through Toby Botez. Needling, oh, it's loose for Smiley. Manages to pop it up for Botez, then the chip through. It'll ask a question of the last line of defence in Leonard Takanoa. And I think they're going back for a penalty to the All-Stars. No advantage coming as they kick that one long. Makato, he's going to look to try and take territory. It's gone over the head of Takanoa and into the corner. That's a head and a half, isn't it? Schwartz for the All-Stars. Former South Africa under-20 back row man, playing hooker. Gets that ball in. Well won. Botez. Smiley looks short side. Botez again. Mercato shifting it quickly to Matt Graham. He's been their go-to line-out jumper for most of the tournament. He's done well with the calls and securing that set-piece play. That's a little loose from the back line now, though. Bettetti allows Furia to get down and get over it. There is Schwartz. Force putting the pressure on, and then they do win the turnover from the loose ball. Then there's that chip into the corner once more, and that's where the ball's going to go. Almost identical position to where the All-Stars had to come back from a couple of moments ago.
Great pressure at the breakdown again from the Western Force. It's been a strength of theirs throughout the competition, and you know, provided they move through to the final, it'll be a very interesting contest again against the Brumbies to see who comes out on top in that battle.
Botez, little chip through. Maybe hoped it would be a little flatter because he's just allowed Van der Heyden to come onto that, and then the chip through from Matuato, and it's going to sit up nicely for Brad Lacey to grab his second try of the game. And the Force are dispatching the Italian All-Stars pretty efficiently now.
We've seen a lot of tries from kicks over the last couple of days, and I guess it comes back to the fact that you don't have the full complement of 15 on the field. It's hard to find, you know, either wingers or fullbacks or scrum halves to act as that sweeper, and the sides obviously have the ability to kick and kick in behind well. You know, have definitely benefited from using that option.
Yeah, it's the nature of tens. Obviously, we can see teams playing with a scrum half, a fly half, and then a sort of centre and two wings. But actually, how that formation comes about in terms of a back three when players are in defence is obviously what is providing the space for teams to kick into.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess at the same time, you've got to be quite good at it to execute it. So the teams who've done it well have obviously practiced it, and it's something that something that they'll have in their arsenal for sides like the Brumbies and Western Force heading into the final.
Toby Botes opts to just take that into Tom Sexton. Ball sent out wide to Downey. Good to get the thoughts of James Downey in co-commentary earlier. We'll start through Michelini. Oh, and then Smiley down the short side. There's one last cover tackle to be made. Smiley still going. He couldn't turn and get the offload away. And then the ball was very well taken by Riley Winter. Then it's a little loose. Sexton's there. Speculative flat or forward passes to try and get themselves out from under their own posts. Loose ball again. Now it's turnover for the All-Stars. Michelini gets himself low. Penalty All-Stars. Smiley needs support, needs someone on his shoulder if he's going to make those little half breaks, and it's not quite happened yet. Then there's the support on the inside, but well, Force making the tackles, and they've done brilliantly to drive Leon Schwartz back there. Then it's gone forward over the line, the advantage being played to the Force. Everybody stopped for a moment, but it's going to be a race for the line. James Downey's coming across the field. Don't know if he's going to bother making it all the way.
Pressing defence on the goal line, they're obviously a good transition to turn into attack. But I think heading into the final, the one thing that Western Force can take a lot of confidence out of is not just the fact that their attack is clicking, but defensively holding a side like the All-Stars to nil will be, is a huge effort, and they can take a lot of confidence heading into the final.
Well, throwing the bodies into the tackles there when, it wouldn't be the end of the world, nearly the end of the game to let it try through. That's obviously the mindset, not to get scored against.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think having watched them train throughout the week while we've been here, they've trained incredibly hard, done a lot of one-on-one full contact stuff, and it's obviously stood them in good stead for this tournament.
Conversion is good, and that will wrap things up in our second semi-final. We know our final here at the 2016 World Club Tens in Mauritius. The Western Force beating the Italian All-Stars by